there's only a handful of people who can ship this out, and yeah, so I have 2 trees actually.
You got 2, okay.
Yeah, this one here is also a Kathy.
My favorite mango. This is my #1 tasting mango, Sunrise.
Yeah, it's good. This is one of my favorites. This is the Mahachanok.
Yes.
I just really love this mango.
The 2 most common trees or popular trees out now, well, there's 3. Right now it's December 2024 that people are seeking that are hard to find is the P22 and Sesy Love and Zil 4026.
This is 2 little cacks.
CAC, C-A-C.
Amazing mango.
Amazing.
One of my favorites
Agree.
that I was able to send out this year. And it's a great mango.
Okay. Hello everybody, welcome to Fruitful Trees. Here we are. This is Vince from Backyard Mangoes. I'm going to put his link below. We've been back to this yard when he planted these trees, and it's about a year later. We're going to get an update. Vince, how you doing, man?
Doing good. Doing good. Just planting trees.
We're at this house now, and about a year ago, I'm going to put the link below to that video, but you decided to plant mango trees on this property, right?
Right. So it was November of 2023, like mid-November, a really rainy day. I was soaked, but I was determined to plant the original 15 mango trees, which we'll see, and you can see how they've grown and compare in size to the next 12 that 11 or 12 that I just planted about 3 months ago.
All right. So when you originally planted them, I know the spacing was great. Did you have space for another 10 or 11 mangoes, or did you just squeeze them in somewhere?
Yeah, no, I took like an aerial snapshot of the property, and I teach math and science, so I used a scale and made a little scale up where I could maximize the mangoes how I wanted them, most of them being around 12 to 16 feet, 12 one way and 16 the other. And that's why even here by the driveway, I planted we'll have space here for another one. I have space up here, and then in the back of the property, I have some more space for a few more mangoes, the last 8, if you will.
Yeah, in our original video, I know you didn't want to plant so close to the driveway, and now you have, but was that your ultimate goal, leaving that option open when we first spoke?
Yeah, so I knew I would get closer to the driveway. I just didn't want to get on the driveway per se, or, you know, this leaves me just enough space to let this tree get big enough to maintain it, obviously, so it doesn't overgrow into the driveway to allow the vehicles to come in and out of the property. And so like up here, I'll probably plant another one up there in that empty space, but It'll be super dwarf, like something that's just really dwarfy.
All right. We all have goals for planting mangoes or planting fruit trees.
Yeah.
For me, when I see a property like this with my goal in mind of having food, I would plant many different trees, not just mangoes.
Right.
What's your goal for planting mango trees on this property, so many mango trees?
Well, I sell them. I sell the mangoes. I ship all over the country, basically, except California. I grow these mangoes, and I have some great varieties here that people really want. I have your favorite, or at least what's been one of yours historically. And so I have Sunrise over there. I have a White Peary over there. I have some CAC. I have...
We're going to go through and look at each variety that you have here.
Yeah. And
okay.
Then I have my map, because I'm telling you, without a map, it's hard to keep track of them, because this is one of just a couple of other properties that I have, but this is the one I show a little bit.
Okay. So let's go through these varieties. So what do we have right here?
So this one is a Kesar, and then I believe right beside it is a Kesar. So I tried to put them together so I can keep track of them, so that I can remember that one. And you can see it's a little bit of flowering here, mixed bloom maybe, but I'll be taking that off as it gets a little bit more mature, just because this tree is not ready to produce fruit.
Sure. And do you put them in, plant them 3 gallons usually?
Yeah, I think on the original, when I did the original 15, most were 3, but there were a few 7s, and those are probably the ones that look a little bit larger now. And then the last planting, they were all 3. except for the white Piri, which is a 7.
And how long before this 3 gallons been in the ground? How long now?
Back in October, and so this is late December, so about 3 months.
So how long, if somebody's going to plant a 3 gallon, it's been in the ground 2 months, how long before you could actually eat a mango from this tree, do you think?
Depends on, property, nutrition, all kinds of factors. 2 years. I mean, I would say this upcoming, so I planted this in October 2024. 25, I'm not going to let it produce. 26, I probably won't let it produce because I like the, and I'll show you a tree here in a minute. Compared to the other trees, I let one of these trees produce, and it is probably visibly smaller, let's see if you can pick it out, than the other trees. But I just let it produce because I didn't overly care about it.
Okay, and now with all the varieties of mangoes out there, I know I don't know if you have 2 of others, but you have 2 Kesar. Is this variety been popular for you, or why did you decide to plant 2 of these, which is a great variety, one of my favorite Indian varieties?
It is.
But why do you plant 2 of this, considering there's so many different varieties out there?
Well, I already have 50 varieties in total that I'm growing. So just to get a second tree of certain varieties makes sense because my customers like this one. It ships well, has a decent shelf life and like instead of a carry, which carry a lot of people love too, it's a little harder to ship. It doesn't have as good of a shelf life. So that's why I did the Kesar.
Okay. All right. So good choice there. Let's go here to the front and look at what else you had. Now, I remember the last time we were here, we were talking about trees up front, and you planted a good distance away from the fence. And I believe we were talking because mangoes, people like to take mangoes.
Yeah.
So with the distance he has here, you can't just reach over the fence and get them. So that's a wise tip.
Yeah.
And a good move.
And eventually, because there's so many mango trees on this property and the value is kind of high on that, I'll be probably replacing the fence with something a little bit higher and a little more secure, in addition to some of the other security things that go on.
You're not going to have like barbed wire on the top of the fence.
It's not legal.
Yeah. Oh, it's not? Okay.
No. Unless I believe if it's agricultural or something else, but this is in a residential area. This is an emerald.
Okay, this is an emerald. Now, most people haven't heard of emerald, and I planted an emerald. I top worked my carry to an emerald.
Okay.
This is one of the best tasting mangoes. It's absolutely amazing, but it's not well known. It should be. It doesn't get too big. Delicious.
And that's why I kind of got some of these varieties based on people I know and recommendations of what I hear. And so, yeah, emerald is I'm excited about it because I know a lot of people don't have it, and this is something that I can provide to customers that other people can't or won't.
Now, Have you tasted emerald?
No.
Besides my videos talking about emerald, do you know other people with it?
No.
Okay, so I inspired you to get this one.
Probably. I mean, I've seen a few videos of different. I think like you, we watch a lot of videos of different people like Dr. Campbell or Salcutta Farms or Orlando Gardner and a few of these guys. And so we all watch each other's content.
I'll put this link below. I have a video where I tasted Sunpuri and Emerald in the same video, and they both blew me away. And I think Rachel Campbell has made this one available to people. I think it's from him, but it's a great variety. It doesn't grow too big. And when I didn't have to top work my carry tree, but I chose to. Emerald was the one I chose.
Yeah.
And I also got an emerald at the time in a 3-gallon pot, and now it's in a 25-gallon pot. So I have an extra space I have an extra tree, but I don't have the space. So I'm going to see how it does in a pot. So that's to be interesting.
Okay.
Emerald's a winner. Good choice, man. Very good choice.
And so then there's a blank space here. I'll probably put something in here that's very dwarf because of the fence. So it's going to be like an ice cream, Julie, or Pickering, or just something.
Yeah,
I might move it back a little bit.
With your goal of selling mangoes, ice cream is and Julie, ice cream is like the top 3 mango for me taste wise, but it doesn't produce well.
Right.
From a selling standpoint, pickering is the way to go. I mean, it produces so well and stays so small.
That's why, I have a couple pickering. Well, this first one's a carry.
All right, here's a carry here.
And what do you think? Should I let this one produce this year?
I mean, it's going to slow down the growth of the tree, but I think...
or maybe let it produce some of what it's showing off here. You know, because the diameter down there is about 2.5
It's definitely going to hold
inches.
fruit. It'll hold fruit. It's strong enough to hold fruit. I would say either do all or none. I wouldn't like do half.
Okay.
Do all or none because you got none to lose.
Yeah. So then anyway, this is my carry. One of them. I have another one at a different property and some others. So
nice. Nice.
yeah, this one's really
That
good.
doesn't ship well, but it'll be the most popular local selling one.
Yeah.
Everyone wants carry.
And I am looking to get into some more local sales. Last year I did a little bit of local sales. But I don't like bringing people to the house. But Delray Market has a summer market, and I think I'm going to try to get into their summer market program. So I'll be there on a Saturday where I can then sell my mangoes locally also. Because a lot of people ask me to, and that'll be a good partnership.
Yes, absolutely.
Pickering.
Another picker.
This one's getting ready to flower, but I'm not going to let this one produce yet. It's just too small.
Yeah. That's going to stay nice and small too.
Yeah.
Pickering's nice.
Now this one I'm thinking about removing. This is a coconut cream.
Yes.
Just because of production. It's supposed to be top tier for sure. It's another one I personally haven't had the opportunity to taste. I kind of jumped into this business head first and went for it with the resources I have anyway. But yeah, just not very. It's supposed to not be as productive as I want. A little slow to grow, but it's supposed to be top tier.
Now that's not an issue, but something a lot of people get into this like I did before knowing a lot, and you learn as you go. That's why I make the videos, is to help people learn from my mistakes or how they could do better things. And we plant varieties and then we realize different ones and so on. So in my videos, I just want to update people and let people know what I think is best. Coconut cream, I would definitely keep.
You would?
100%.
Okay. I've been on the fence about it. No, yeah.
My neighbor has a tree for 7 years, 6 years. It did like nothing. Now it's one of his most productive trees and his best tasting ones.
Okay.
And from a selling standpoint, you get more requests for this. Like next to carry, I'd say you get more for coconut cream than any other one.
Yeah.
I would 100% keep this.
Yeah. I actually have data at home. My biggest request was actually lemon meringue.
Lemon meringue. Okay.
Lemon meringue, Venus, Maha, and I can't remember the other top. There's like about 5. My top 5 requested ones. So
yeah, I would definitely get a coconut cream and keep a coconut cream. I know a lot of people get frustrated because it starts fruiting late, but once it starts fruiting, it's my friend almost got rid of his because he was so disappointed. But once it started, it's amazing, and it just
in your
tastes
experience
amazing.
with it, what's the growth habit of it? Because when I compare it to the other trees that I've planted around the same size and time, you can see this one just hasn't done quite as well. And I think could be from where I got it. I won't talk about it, but
So with coconut cream, there's 2 things. First of all, the growth habit of all coconut creams, it doesn't grow like a regular tree, like a pretty tree. It grows weird.
okay.
The branches grow weird. It's never going to look like a normal tree. So if you look at a tree, you're going to know that's what it is.
Okay.
There was one thing about the rootstocks at some places. In the old days, they used to be on a bad rootstock, and the trees didn't even survive, let alone grow well.
Okay.
However, they've corrected the problem, and that was quite a while ago, so I doubt this is one of those.
All right.
But come on over to my place, because we live nearby, and see my coconut cream on my neighbors. And before you decide to get rid of see ours, and
taste it.
I'll definitely taste it. This summer you're going to taste it, because my neighbor, he has tons of, his tree's loaded. My tree hasn't produced yet, but his is loaded. It is a delicious fruit. It's great, and the people love it.
All right.
So,
Well, at worst, I'll keep it for a while. If I need to cut it, I can cut parts of it, graft onto
yeah,
it.
you can always top work it, but
There you go.
it's the only tree that's patented. You
Yeah.
know that? It's patented. You can't, this is one tree that has a patent on it, the only tree that does.
This tree here is an orange essence.
Okay. Orange essence.
Yeah.
Yes. Have you tasted this?
No. I have the sherbet, but not the essence. So where my other property is a little bit further west, so it has more humidity pressure. So I decided I didn't want to do essence there, but I've heard that this one's fantastic too.
Tastes amazing, and it's going to be one of your latest mangoes of the year.
Yep.
So it'll expand the season.
And that's why I planted it. Yep.
Yeah, excellent choice. It just tastes so great, and it doesn't grow really extremely tall, big.
Mm-hmm.
Excellent choice.
Thank you.
Yeah, you're going to be selling mangoes all the way up to October.
Well, which way you want to go?
Classic.
Classic. It's an early season, so it gets me in shipping earlier. So that's.
Do you get a lot of requests for Glen, really?
Here's the thing. When you've gone all fall and all winter and spring is hitting and you're waiting on something that's a late season, but this is ready, yeah, I sell quite a bit of Glens. There's some people who maybe we'll say less adventurous, and so they know the Glen and they want the Glen because it's a very familiar classic for them. So yeah.
This hasn't been too early. It's at the beginning of mid-season, but early season, but the beginning of mid-season. The prettiest mango out there. I personally don't like it, but it's a classic that some people love, and it produces excellent.
Right.
It's a great producer.
And I know, there's been a lot of talk on them. We're hit and miss on their flavor. I think last season was exceptional flavor with the late dry spell that we had. Really helped the flavor. I've had them in other seasons where I'm not as impressed with it. But that's why I have it, because it's one of my earlier mangoes that I can get it out to people. Okay. Yeah. This one is orange sherbet.
Orange sherbet. Okay.
Yes, orange sherbet. Yep. And it's doing good. I may let this produce. I have one at the house that's much bigger that I've already been shipping out of. Oh, that was the other big top requested one, or people are looking for it. Yeah.
This is people that have this is their number one tasting mango.
Yeah, it's
for me, my experience between my tree and my neighbor's tree, both our trees get jelly seed on it.
Oh,
Three
really?
trees we have, they get jelly seed where it's almost inedible. So my tree was loaded last year, and most of it was inedible. My neighbor's tree has 2 trees, same thing. So I checked with Alex, and he said it needed more calcium.
Yeah.
But one to watch an eye on for that.
And I've also heard if it gets too much nitrogen, I believe it is, the nitrogen, if it gets too high, can also lead to it. So make sure you're trying to get the calcium in there with no nitrogen.
Yeah, orange sherbet. It's in the family of lemon meringue and lemon zest. It's a delicious one. Like I said, most people, it's their top of their list that have tasted a lot of these new mangoes. Good choice.
And these are the Kesars again.
Yep, back to the Kesars.
We'll come over here. This one, Kathy K3 Kryptonite.
Yes.
So what can you say about it? It's good. Looks like I need to come in here with some get these mango scale off.
I actually had a Kathy, and I actually sold it to the cameraman. And my friend here, Alexa's on the camera today. My spacing wasn't good. This one stays small. I tasted it. It's absolutely amazing.
Yep.
I heard it doesn't produce as well, or it doesn't produce well at all. That's what I heard.
Okay.
But it tastes great. And when I was looking to get rid of a tree, even though the ones I tasted were excellent, I heard it wasn't a great producer, so that's the one I decided to.
Yeah, I tried to mix the idea of production and the idea of high-end premium mangoes. I mean, I know I have the Glen, but stuff that's definitely tiered way above a Glen. And so even though I'm going to take a little hit on the production, at least I'm going to have this mango where there's only a handful of people who can ship this out. And yeah, so I have 2 trees actually.
You got 2, okay.
Yeah, this one here is also a Kathy.
Okay. So. Interesting. We'll see how it does.
Yeah, and if not, you know, we can always top work it. We can always, you know, this is also another Kathy.
Now, when you're growing your trees, do you ever, like these are growing long here, do you ever cut them back when you're first growing them to have more panicles?
Yeah, so I tipped this one here probably a little bit late in the season, so it didn't really flush out like I had wanted. And I don't know if it's in this yard. Maybe we'll find one. But I know in my other yard, what's really interesting is I've done a couple late season tippings like this. And coming out here, instead of new growth, it's new flowers. And so instead of getting one panicle, I'm getting multiple panicles now.
Interesting.
Which is very, yeah, I have to
Well, that's what you want.
Yeah.
You know?
And so I'm wondering, you know, am I onto something? Will it work on all varieties with some? Or, you know, and it may be hit or miss in terms of maybe it will produce, maybe it won't. We'll have to figure it out.
Richard Campbell says two handfuls in length.
Yeah, and I'm way above
You're
that
way above
here.
it on this one.
Yeah.
You know.
So,
because if you cut it here, then you'll have more panicles come out.
Yeah, and I need to probably move this so it branches outward a bit more, but
yeah.
Hey, we're all learning, and sometimes, you know, I do this for a hobby. This is not my full-time thing. Like I said before, I'm a middle school teacher, math, science, and ESE. So what do I got here?
Sweet tart.
Sweet tart.
Yes.
We know whose favorite this is.
Alex at Tropical Acres. This is his #1 tasting mango.
Yep, and it's a great little mango. It ships well. It's productive. So yeah,
it's challenging to pick ripe. You got to really get experience with this tree because you could pick them ripe on the tree or not, and that's the question: is should you or not? I like them better when they're ripe on the tree, but there's sometimes they will ripen unevenly if you don't pick them ripe on the tree. But if you leave them on the tree, sometimes they get rotten on some sides. It tastes great. The other thing with this one is they call it the branch breaker because they grow on small clusters. A tremendous amount. This tree is very productive. But if you thin them out, the mangoes will become bigger and do better. If you leave a bunch of small ones on there, they literally will break a big, thick branch. I know at least 2 people that have trees and big branches broke. Actually 3 because mine broke also.
Yeah.
So, and then you wasted the whole branch. So definitely thin them out on these.
Yeah, but it's a great one.
Yeah.
Now this is the tree I let produce last year, which is a rosy gold. And you can see by its size how much sort of smaller it is compared to a lot of the other trees. But we'll see what I do.
In general, it's a smaller tree in general.
It is.
Now this is the earliest tree that'll produce in most yards, rosy gold, and the taste is better if you leave them on the tree longer.
Yeah.
But one of the advantages is you get early mangoes on this.
And it's another really early season variety. Yeah. So like when I planted it, I tried to plant a few things. Production, early, mid, and late season. So I tried to get some earlies and lates in there because I have a lot of mid season's easy. And then, yeah.
See how that one does? All right, here you have my favorite mango. This is my #1 tasting mango, Sunrise.
Yeah, it's good. It's fantastic mango.
Absolutely great. And I can't say enough about this. I mean, it's going to be, it gets huge though. I mean, this spot will be good, but this, I mean, unless you have Valencia Pride, this might be one of the biggest trees out here.
Well, yeah, for here, yeah. 015 is a monster, can be a monster too.
Yes.
And my 015, man, I planted it next to an ice cream at the other property, and the 015 was like this forever. And then once it finally took, it's now huge, and the ice cream is still.
Have you tasted the 015?
Yes.
What do you think? Yeah.
It's a good one.
So this one, how many Sunrise you have? Did you say 2 or 1?
I have this one that's here, and I have one in a different, not quite in the orchard, but in a different property that's there.
And how far was this from that tree?
If I remember correctly, it's around 12, 14, maybe 14 feet.
Okay.
14 feet.
All right. This will be a big tree. This is, I can't say enough about Sunrise. That's one I definitely recommend. If I could only have one mango tree in my yard, knowing what I know now, and taste is subjective, everybody, but it would be this tree, Sunrise.
Well, and then so what you'll see is, as you mentioned a second ago, this is a huge tree, or will be a huge tree. And then the next tree we're going to go to is going to be a nice dwarf tree. It's a dwarf Hawaiian. And so what happens is the sun comes up this way and it sets, actually other way around, I'm backwards, sorry. The sun comes up over here, that's east, and then sets over here being west. And so it's going to allow it to get pretty good morning and afternoon sun, because this one was just going to stay a lot smaller than that tree.
Well, one thing I've learned, and I think if you have a grove, you got to plant in rows so you can get the big machinery through it. But for a small yard like this, I found out, and maybe, you know, for those of you that are starting it, it's better to plant not in rows, and like one row plant one way and the next row have like one in the middle, and plant this next row where it's not in a row. You can't do that on a big grove because you need to get the machinery down. But let's say you had to do this all over again. If you would have had one here and then one that way, where it's going like this instead of straight, because when these grow, thankfully that one's small, but you're going to have more room if that one was here and that one was there versus that way.
It probably would, well, and then it came to the math situation. This was the way to maximize the most trees on the property at the end result. So I realized, once I start having to do a little more trimming and cutting, actually what I'm going to probably be doing is trim, chop, and drop, where nothing's really going to come out of here, or very minimally will be removed from the property.
Yeah, you know, the biggest misconception people get from my videos, and it's my fault because of the way I talk about it, but I'm a really big fan of high density gardening.
Yes.
And you can plant much closer, especially if it's not on a commercial level, because you can keep the trees trimmed, and you should trim them every year anyway. You should never let your trees get too big, because hurricanes can affect them during the winter time. So I think he has more than enough space here. It takes more work to keep them trimmed every year. But I like checking up on my trees every year and trimming them every year. It's great. Now, I notice I don't see any water here. Do you hand water these trees?
Yeah, I have a well in the back and a big water hose around here. And so as needed, we just run around and hand water them, or put a sprinkler out and just kind of let it sprinkle. But I don't really plan on putting in irrigation.
You don't need to for mangoes. You don't need to.
You know, 30 feet down we have water, and of course the top I want to keep a little bit moist, so I'll put in mulch at times when needed and stuff. So
that's another thing. He's just doing mangoes here, and you don't really need water for mangoes once they get established, as opposed if you just had like one other tree here of a different fruit. Now you got to think about water. So
right, like on the other property I have soursop and avocado and jackfruit. And so it's a little bit different, and then even the fertilizer that avocado needs. This is one of my favorites. This is the Mahachanok.
Yes,
I just really love this mango.
It's time to loosen the tag there.
I was at what really turned me on to this mango was, before I got into mangoes, about say 10 years ago, I was at a nursery, and the nursery had one of these planted in their front yard, and it was pretty big. And just the mango itself, the color, the shape was so striking. And I was thinking, if this big nursery planted this in their front yard, and this is what that owner has, that's what I want. And so I bought it with it. You know, like I said, this was 10 years ago, before I even got into mangoes at all. And I have it at my other property. But I love it. It's a great producing mango. It ships well. It's just, the flavor on it to me is just right on so many levels. but definitely for me, one of my favorites.
Yeah, this one here is one that does really well, probably best against the diseases that are out there.
Yep.
This one stays clean in many different places, and it's interesting. Taste is so subjective. This is one I don't like the taste of, and most people
Video's
do.
over.
Yes,
No.
most people like this one. It's not one I liked, but I'm encouraged to get one, and I just got one in a pot.
Well,
from
here's
Alexis.
the thing. Maybe where it's grown, because I had a customer the other day. They came and bought 3 trees from me, and we were talking about it, and they had some mangoes, a maha, from a different farm. And, you know, I don't know about you, but like I've had watermelon that's amazing, and you've had watermelon that's just kind of not good. And it's the soil, the nutrition, everything about it. And so when I was like, well, let me pull a maha out of the freezer. So I pulled one out of the freezer, and we cut it up. And now they're like, oh, I think I'm going to come back and buy that tree from you, because it's, you know, it could be where it's grown. But the ones I've had very good success with. A lot of people love them, but I've also heard people who don't. So it's okay.
Wow. Even frozen, it tasted good.
Yeah. So, right. So we freeze them. We take them out for about 10-15 minutes. You can then slice it, and it is like mango sherbet. I mean,
wow.
You don't want it to completely thaw, because if it completely thaws after frozen, they're very, very mushy. But if you kind of in between,
yeah,
and you a little spoon, and it's like mango sherbet.
I love to freeze mangoes, and they all lose some from the original flavor, but Sunrise is amazing frozen.
So what we did is we have frozen them whole, just regular.
Yes.
But we've also used a vacuum sealer bag and then freeze them in a vacuum sealer bag while whole. And if you do that, you may retain the flavor.
Wow.
So try a vacuum sealer bag, a whole mango.
Good. Very good point. Okay, so here we got
Cien Talon, the guava.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
You ever tasted it?
Again, no.
You got to come to my house this summer.
But I hear it's fantastic. It was highly talked about by Alex for a while.
Yeah, I got one, and when I was trying to make more space, I thought about getting rid of it, and he said, no, keep that one. That's a good one. Yeah. And it was delicious, really good. The tree gets super big.
Yeah,
but it's really good.
A little closer to the house than I want, but we'll deal with it.
But no, well, you are here. I mean, this is a great example. You don't want these trees to get super big, and you have more than enough space if you keep them pruned to get a good amount of mangoes and not letting them get too big.
Well, I was just watching a video with name escapes me, but it was a PBS video.
Yeah, I saw it.
The mango one.
Yeah,
and they were talking about, you keep that height up to about 18 is the max, which I don't like to go 18. I
would not go 18.
No, I'm around 12 to 14. As long as my picking pole can reach it, maintain it at that point. And anyway.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. But that's a good one. Okay.
Angie's
right.
hit and miss for people. Some people love it. Some people don't. I personally really like it. I think it's a great Indian flavored mango. Ships better than the Carrie. Has a better shelf life than Carrie. So this is one of, I have another Angie at the other property, but that's why I grow this Angie here. Excellent
producer. Tastes great. Early season.
Yep.
All around, it's great. And Alex speaks very highly of it. I love it, Angie. I have... I top work one tree, put the Angie, and I have another tree. Excellent.
Mm-hmm.
Good choice.
And then right behind you is a P22.
Okay. Now you have tasted this one.
Yeah.
Yeah. I haven't yet, but I've just put a tree in the ground.
It's fantastic. And, top tier.
I actually put it in my neighbor's yard, so I'm going to take that chance. My neighbor's going to I'll share it with him, but
I'll have to come
P22 is supposed to be a winner. In a lot of people's books now. The Cameraman Alexis, you got one of these, right? I think I got one, and you got one at the same time.
Yeah, mine has stayed really, really.
It will, but I got you. Okay, yeah. So this is supposed to be a winner, mid-season, right?
I don't remember. I believe it's late. I believe it's mid to late.
Okay.
But as you know, you've been doing some of these videos. and last season was a wild season. For some people, they can be in one location and it's all of a sudden coming in mid, and some people, my main property is about 9 miles west of here, and things come in just a little bit later. So it really sort of can depend on your location, east and west, and then north and south. So,
and a lot of the things we're talking about here is West Palm Beach, kind of near Tropical Acres when we talk about the season, at least when I do for my videos, because I know at Laurel Farms, Miami, down in south or up in Jupiter, they can be a whole month apart from what we get here. So we're kind of like in the middle, so I often talk about that. Yeah. But they're still usually early, mid, and late season. It's just their early, mid, and late season might be a month early or a month behind.
Yeah, and then some people, I've had customers be like, "Where's my mangoes? Everybody's getting them, and you're not shipping yet." And I'm like, "My trees aren't quite ready, but I promise you, I will." They do ship, and they understand that at some point. All right, so now we're on to the new trees that I just planted.
All right.
So this one over here is a Sesy Love. And that one is a Sesy.
Okay, I tell you, the two most common trees or popular trees out now, well, there's three. Right now it's December 2024 that people are seeking that are hard to find is the P22 and Sesy Love and Zil 4026. Those are the three most top requested that people can't find. Everyone wants to carry that they can find that.
I have some of them in pots at home.
But these are the ones they can't find. Well, you have Zil 4026?
That one, but I started from a seed. That one I won't sell because it's from a seed.
But you have P22?
I have a P22 at home in a pot, that I grafted a while back.
And you have Sesy Love?
Sessy's I don't have any more right now. But no.
All right, Sesy Love. So what can you tell us about this one?
It was great. I don't. All right, I'm not as good as you at this, but it's another fantastic mango. My understanding is Dr. Campbell named it after his wife. Yes. I mean, I figure if one of the world's leading mango men names a mango after his wife, that's some adoration there, and that's got to be a good thing, right? So
yeah, this one is Alex loves Sweet Tart, the Sweet Tart mango. It has the Indo-Chinese kind of flavor that he describes it as Indo-Chinese. The thing is, though, it might be susceptible to disease. Some people have trouble with it. And, the growing habits, it gets a little on the taller side. This one, the Sesy Love, tastes similar to the Sweet Tart, but it stays smaller and doesn't have any issues with disease that's known of yet. So that's why this one's like a winner. It's the taste is there, the flavor is there, but it stays smaller.
You haven't done P22, right? You haven't had P22?
I haven't tasted the P22.
So, because I'm not a sommelier, but to me, the P22 reminded me of Sweet Tart. And I liked it because it has a better flush to seed ratio.
Okay, that's good. That's important to know. That's good. But that's what Sesy Love is about, and it's good that you got two of them. Mm-hmm. You got a lot of requests for mangoes from those. So everyone. Yeah. Now, when you sell your mangoes, do you do a variety box or do you sell one variety for people?
Generally, I sell variety boxes, and a lot of people have liked it because I've introduced people to mangoes that they may have not ordered. I do sort of let them make a request and be like, hey, can you send me a little bit more of X, Y, or Z? I try to limit that to like one or two. So say they are ordering a 12-pound box. And I mean, some 12-pound boxes last year, I've had as many as 8 varieties in that box. And so people have... I've had some people be like, man, that was fantastic. And I sent them like a Valkyrie or a Van Dyke or a Zil, the original Zil from 100 years ago almost. And they're like, man, I never would have bought that mango, but I'm so glad you sent it to me because I wouldn't have bought it. But I'm glad I've tasted it, and can you send me more?
There you go. There you go.
Like,
wild card you throw in there.
Right, and I've tried to throw some wild cards in there. Or what I'm able to do is I'll send, say a Glenn's, which you say is, kind of average, with maybe a Valencia Pride, which is in that average sort of group, and then be able to throw in like a lemon meringue and then an orange sherbet, and then so people are like, oh wow, and it's amazing though. You have people who will say Valencia Pride's still their favorite, or X whatever other mangoes out there.
Yeah.
So.
All right, let's move along.
So right behind you here, this is two little cacks.
Cac, C-A-C.
Amazing mango. Amazing. One of my favorites.
Agree.
That I was able to send out this year, and it's a great mango. Disease resistant, pretty solid, nice producer. They do get a little bit bigger. I probably should have moved this one over, but we'll make it work.
Absolutely delicious. Absolutely delicious. Highly recommend. He has two here. Highly recommend Cac. If you're growing, if you're going to order some, that's one you want. It's excellent.
Yep.
Yeah.
And then over here, I have two lemon meringues.
All right. So he's listening to his customers. They want lemon meringue. He put 2 trees in the ground.
Yeah, and I have a tree already at the house, and another grower I work with has a tree, and but this was a very popular mango this year, so I put 2 in there.
Excellent.
And then over here's White Piri, or excuse me, White Piri.
White Piri, one of the best tasting mangoes you'll find. Highly susceptible to the what are we spraying for now with the sulfur?
Powdery mildew.
Powdery mildew, highly susceptible to powdery mildew. So this is definitely one you need to spray. But the mango stays on the smaller side. You've tasted it, right?
Yeah.
Absolutely amazing. Yep. Tastes like the spiciness of an ice cream or Bombay mango in that same family. And one of the best tasting was out there. Good choice.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And then so I have room for like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, about 9 to 10 more, somewhere in that on this property. I'll probably plant like 2 Julies back there. I'm debating whether to do a lemon zest. I know it's very popular. People are asking me all the time for it. I just hear it has growing. It's difficult to grow, so.
In our area, it does well. I mean, my neighbor has one that's always loaded. He has 2 actually, and mine's loaded right now and pretty big. And
so
I'm loaded with flowers now, but it's one of my biggest trees.
So maybe I'll put that in here because I know it's always.
But I don't know if I would, because it is the bacterial black spot. They say it's going to affect that, and so. To have one in a pot and let it grow until more people weigh in on it, that's what I do, because it tastes amazing, but you don't want to have problems with bacterial black spot.
Right.
And Alex has always had trouble planting his.
Right.
So I would plant it in a pot, let it grow maybe to a 25-gallon, and all the information next couple of years that come out, then you could decide if you want to put it in the ground or not. Because there are some that are proven. I know Chris the Truly Tropical has a new one called Lemon Ish.
Yeah.
And it's supposed to have even more lemon flavor and not have the disease issue. So I
ordered it.
I would wait and see what
I ordered it.
Yeah, I would wait and see what happens with the lemon zest. I'd be skeptical before putting it in the ground.
Yeah.
But with all the opportunities we have, but I would definitely get it in a pot and let it grow and see.
But like I said, so I have about 10. I might do a Keo Savoy. I have some that nobody else, very few. I don't want to say nobody. I have some, like I have a Kuklom Krong at home, and I'll be planting that one over here. I have a Tong Dam at home. So,
from a selling standpoint, one that's not my favorite mango, but one of the favorite requested that people look for is Nam Duk Mai.
Yeah,
a lot of people ask for that one.
So I have 2 of them. I have the number 4. But I also have the Saitong variety.
Okay.
And the reason why is it's supposed to be a little bit more disease resistant, a little bit less prone to splitting, with still holding that great flavor. But I didn't want to go in heavy on Nam Duk Mai's because I mean, I've seen those even at some of the local grocery stores. So they're a little more commercially grown. So I didn't do those.
Yeah.
I have one.
Well, this is a great collection. A great collection you have here, and I'm looking forward to coming back and seeing how this place grows and what happens here. And thank you so much. I'm going to put Vince's link below. Check it out. He has, not only does he have mangoes, but because he's such a smaller operation, he's able to sell the mangoes at a lower price than many of the major places you'll see commercially over the internet. So that's always an advantage. And not that competition's not bad or whatever, but I know one farm that even brings down the price lower. It's not great because it's good to have an even field. But I remember last year,
I'm kind of in the middle. I wouldn't say I'm not lowest low, but I'm not highest high. I'm in there in the middle. For the mangoes I'm able to provide, I think it's a good price point or value where I'm at.
Yeah.
So
and I remember last year you sell a lot because I traditionally haven't sold my mangoes, but last year people contacted me. He was done for the season. He was out, and people contacted me and said, "He's out. Do you have any?" And so I fulfilled orders for some of your customers, and
I hope they come back to me.
But they were different varieties, and I said, I didn't know. I don't sell these traditionally. I said, well, I'll sell them to you for whatever he's selling them at, and I did, and they ordered, and then more people started ordering. So So because I use it for my food, so I just try to fill up my freezers with as much as possible.
Yeah.
And, but I'd be open to selling if I have extra, but I definitely like supporting local businesses and people that have that as their main goal. As you can tell from my videos, I'm open to sharing the information with everyone. So if somebody contacts me and says, who's selling mangoes, I will give them a whole list of people and say, have fun, find out what they got and all that. And definitely Backyard Mangoes is one of those places.
Thank you.
And locally here. And I'm looking forward during the season to come out maybe to your other yard and have you at mine, and we'll do some taste tests of the different mangoes.
Oh yeah, I might have some small groups of people do some taste tests for my YouTube channel, because I also have a channel under the same name. And I like to introduce people to some of the mangoes that they've never had before, or stuff that they didn't know existed, and it's fun.
Yes. Besides the site where he's selling mangoes, Backyard Mangoes, go check them out on YouTube, Backyard Mangoes as well.
Yeah.
Good education, and he has when he planted these and some new videos coming in the future. So thank you so much, man.
All right, thank you, Paul.
Yes.
Appreciate it.
All right, everybody, check on the links below. Thank you for watching, and keep growing.